Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas Snow, and this is the Nicholas Snow Show, and welcome to another exciting candidate interview. I've been doing a variety of candidate interviews, and this is my final one. Set to come on the show tonight is Joy Meredith, who is a candidate for Palm Springs City Council District 3. Now, before Joy announced that she was running, I endorsed Ron DeHart, who is also running in District 3. I'm still endorsing Ron, but I have invited everyone that is running against anyone I've endorsed to appear on the show, and I'm so delighted that Joy has said yes. So that's what's planned for tonight's show, and I hope you'll stay tuned. And I think it's important to remind you why we vote, not only locally, but across the country. So I put together a little video that helps us figure that one out. So I've known Joy Meredith for a long time, and I think she's a fabulous person, and I wanted to provide equal time to her to come on my show. I was a little bit nervous because she hadn't connected to the studio when we began, but she is in the green room, and I know that the show will go on. I was going to do a fabulous job of telling you all about her if she wasn't able to make it. But before I do my Q&A with Joy, let's hear from her directly.
I'm not a professional politician. I've never run for any office, but I have been involved in dozens of organizations in Palm Springs as both a businesswoman and a mom. I will return a local voice to our city council dealing with the issues that really matter to our community, like affordable housing, public safety, and economic development that helps our citizens. On November 8th, choose Joy. I would be honored to earn your vote, and thank you.
That's kind of tricky. How could you not choose Joy? You know, it's like, I see what you're doing. So without further delay, let me welcome to the show, hopefully with a good audio and video connection, because we did not check it in advance, Joy Meredith. Hi, Joy.
Hi. Ooh, I didn't check it that much either, apparently. But hi, I'm Joy.
No,
Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Do you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes.
I guess my computer decided to not want to start or anything. Just about
that's
20
okay.
minutes ago.
That's all right. Relax, be calm, because you're here. I see you. You're great. You have good audio, good video. So,
Right. If you could have heard my potty mouth a few minutes ago, though.
well,
Ooh,
I'm so glad that you made it because I was
thanks.
first of all it's brave of you because you know that I had already previously endorsed Ron, and
Yeah,
I really I respect you and I want to give you equal time.
thank
So
you.
I'm so glad that you came on the show. It means a lot to me.
So,
Uh,
funny story, I guess. I previously endorsed Ron.
you know what? I
I
knew
like
that, and
him.
yes, I knew that, and I wanted to actually ask you about that. So, how did the shift come from you having decided to endorse a candidate to becoming a candidate? Was there some sort of big event that happened that caused you to want to get in the race yourself?
Really, it was just, well, there was a few things. Most of it was just that people had come and asked me to run. People that I've known for a long time that I've worked with. And it seemed like this would be a good year for it. Um, I'm not sure how I'll feel about it in 4 more years from now. And I didn't want to take that chance. So, I've been involved in a lot of things in Palm Springs. This is one of the things that I hadn't had the opportunity to do. I feel that some projects still need a lot of work, and I want to be able to have input on them. And so this just seemed like the year.
Okay, well, welcome to politics. So, yeah, I
Oh,
admire
that
any.
part of it I'm not enjoying.
Yes, I'm
Not enjoying
sure.
that much.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. I admire anybody that decides they want to step up and be of service at that level because, anybody in the public eye is going to have people that love them and people that have the opposite feeling. So, but
Yeah.
the desert sun loves you.
The desert sun loves me. So um, I was very excited about that. And I just am very grateful for that for sure. And I'm guessing it's just maybe a little bit different group of people there. And they asked me the right questions and I had the right answers for them. And I have been involved for a very long time. I moved to Palm Springs, if you don't mind me just
No, please
starting
talk.
off.
Say
So
whatever you want. And
thank you.
while you're talking about your history in Palm Springs, and please
Mhm.
do, I'm going to bring up this fabulous timeline that's on your website.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you came to Palm Springs to visit
Yeah.
your parents
I did. I just came
decades
to
ago.
visit. And when they like rode those steps up to my airplane, because they didn't have hangars then or anything, and I was wearing a winter coat, I moved here from Maine, and there was still snow on the ground in Maine. It was like March or April. And I got off the plane and just looked around at this 360 degrees of sky and the bluest sky in a color I never saw before. I just, it truly was a situation that I just like fell in love immediately with this place. And so I ended up calling for my stuff and I moved here.
So
So
this is
that's
this
some
is
of my kids.
well, and
This is my parents in that
love
picture.
love
And all
that.
of us live here. My parents don't live here anymore, although I'm sure they're up there keeping an eye on me somewhere. Um, Yeah, my parents and I, we had this funny little deal. The deal was I wouldn't run for consul as long as they were alive. But afterwards was okay. And it was because they said because they wouldn't be able to handle people speaking badly of me, that it would be very
Aw.
hard for them. As a matter of fact, I had to have that conversation with my adult children and my adult grandchildren too, is people might say some stuff. It's okay. It's just the way it is. It's all right.
Um, I I have heard nothing bad said about you, um, and one of the questions I'm going to ask you, which I asked Ron DeHart when he was on the show, and he had nothing bad to say about you either. Um, uh, but I was wondering if you would talk about what you think distinguishes you between your views and goals and priorities versus Ron.
Well, I feel like I want to be able to spend more time delving into the issues that are concerning local residents. And tourism is very strong, and they have very strong leaders already. But I feel like a lot of the particularly longer time local residents that I've grown up with here, so I guess that makes me one of the older people now. But I just felt like a lot of what they were telling me wasn't really um, being represented as much, and I just wanted to make sure that I would be able to be that voice for them, because a lot of them have stopped being active, maybe just because they might be older, or some of them have moved out of town. But a lot of people approach me about it, and it just seemed like a good time to be able to do this. And there's just some issues happening right now, particularly this situation that a lot of people call homelessness or homeless people. But really, to me, there's some very important distinctions that we have to make as a community. And that's that we have homeless people who are homeless. They need help, they need services, and maybe we could help them. And then we have criminal vagrants that choose to live the way that they are, and they're committing crimes. And basically, when not all of them, of course, but there is this problem that's happening, and because of the laws, they, could possibly be arrested, but they're just re-released right at that point. Sometimes within an hour or two of actually being taken all the way down to the jail and everything. So we just need to think of some new plans here. But for me, the first step would be to help the people that we could help. And I'm hopeful that the new center will help this problem. I don't know how it is that it never really came to my brain that we were taking many cities homeless people for those 80 beds over there. I think I kind of envisioned, and I know that a lot of other people did too, because we talked about it, envisioned that we were going to help get our Palm Springs homeless people off the street. But in fact, we're looking at a much larger crowd. I don't know that it's going to be enough. I don't know that it's not going to be enough. But we're waiting a year to just see the first phase of it. But there's some things that we have to do, pretty much right away. And however we could do that is great. Personally, just as a human being, I've always had this theory about homeless people, especially if you're downtown where you see people. I mean, they're like your neighbors, right? Walking up and down, the same person every day. And that's to maybe talk to them. And for some people, it is something so small that could help them get back on their feet. Like sometimes they no longer have a driver's license, so they can't get a job. I mean, simple, right? But not so simple if you don't have money or don't have transportation to the DMV. Or maybe, they have a sister that's in Indio, but they don't have a bus pass. Sometimes there's really small things you could do to help somebody. So I would say in my time in Palm Springs, I've probably found housing for at least a dozen people. I just like to focus on one person that really seems like they could be helped and just take it through to the finish line. So that's kind of the way I've always done it, usually through Jewish Family Services.
Um, is there uh, is there something you would have done differently regarding the approach to people you describe as criminal vagrants? And I know you draw the distinction between the unhoused and people that. How do you define criminal vagrant?
Well, I think the people that are committing crimes, drug dealers, there's a lot of fentanyl going on amongst them. Um, People that are committing property crimes, those sort of crimes. I mean, they might be committing bigger crimes. I don't really know, but just those sort of crimes that really make people uncomfortable or make them feel unsafe. I mean, thankfully, it hasn't gotten a lot worse than that more often. I watch a few on Instagram. There's a couple of pages on there that it's like Street People of Beverly Hills, Street People of Long Beach, all these different ones, and you just see it's crazy, and how you could go like just a couple more steps, and we could be in a situation that is unmanageable completely. I like that the chief has been having some enforcement activity. That's, I think that the best way that that's helpful is if certain of the criminal element feel like they're being hassled, maybe they'll just choose another city.
Do you agree with the way that the new center has been rolled out? Would you have done something differently? Would you want to change the course if elected to council?
Well, there's really nothing we could do anymore. We got the money, we have the grants, we are responsible for this center to happen. I think that in District 1 that they were very vocal about not wanting it there. They have some history with having a facility there before, even when it was just a lunch facility in a church, and it didn't go over that well. They're already trying really hard just to protect, it. If you wake up in the morning and your grandma's calling you and she's saying, "Hey, I got some guy sleeping on my porch," uh, it doesn't go over that well in a neighborhood that's very protective of their family, especially. So, um,
Well, what neighborhood would that go over well in?
well, it wouldn't go over good in any neighborhood, but I have always thought that the area of land, I mean, I don't own it or anything, but um, where the um, where the swap meet used to be on Ramon, so there in the drive-in, there's like a big concrete slab there. There's some amount of electrical there. There's like at least some nuts and bolts, but it is there. So really the discussion of it doesn't matter at this point. But I did not know that we were taking in other cities. I thought that this was something we were doing for Palm Springs.
Um, well, thank you for sharing your views on that. One of the last night I interviewed Jeffrey Bernstein, who's running in District 2, and one of the questions I asked him that relates to this topic that you brought up, and I'd like to expand upon it, is that when people think of homelessness, I think that one of the things they think of are people downtown that are committing crimes. But the reality is, most of the people who are dealing with homing challenges fall into vastly different categories. And Jeffrey was going through all of the stats about people who are living below the poverty level and how many kids in our own school
Right.
systems are unhoused, and it's a massive challenge. And one of the things that I think exists, Joy, is a disconnect between the people that oppose individuals who are downtown and the roots of homelessness. So, you have mental health challenges, you have drug addiction, you have the existence of white privilege, and the fact that so many people don't have the opportunities that other people have. And so I don't know what the solution is, but I think that there's a real need to have a, a greater level of compassion toward people that might have the label criminal vagrant. I get that there are some people that are choosing to be there.
Mhm.
They're not necessarily addicts. They don't want jobs. I mean, I agree there are some situations like that. But how how do you, and you clearly have the compassion because you've helped people over the years, but how do we reach the community and the public to help them understand the bigger picture and the root causes and want to be inspired to be part of the solution?
Well, there are so many facets to the whole thing, and I mean, and what you're saying about in the schools when they're talking about, there's a lot of kids that just are sleeping on somebody's couch. They really don't have a home. They don't have a room. They don't have that feeling of security and safety that we would like them to have, and and also we have a problem with the high rents now. So what could happen is that we could end up with a lot more people that are going to be homeless than that didn't ever intend to be or anything, just because of the housing prices. I know when they redid that apartment building on Arenas and in Celia there, they used to call it crack towers and all kinds of names, because there was a criminal element that was there, but it wasn't everybody. And so we had a guy in the back of my store in the parking lot there. So he used to live there in that apartment building, but they all got evicted for the remodeling there. So he was living in his pickup truck in the parking lot behind my store with all his furniture and possessions in the back of his pickup truck. And then of course what happened was he didn't have the money for his registration, so they towed his car. And so now this isn't just a car, this was his home. So we have a lot of people too that are just teetering on some sort of really desperate situation, as it seems that the rich get richer and the others get poorer. I mean, a real case of that, I think.
Well, I would love for you to share anything else that you want to get across in terms of why you're running and what's important to you,
Well,
and
I just feel like Palm Springs has a vibe, like a physical vibe that you could feel, and the vibe that I fell in love with when I moved here. And of course we have to grow and everything, but I just want to make sure that we're maintaining a proper balance between the citizens' quality of life and what we bring with it. I mean, even though crowds are certainly great for business, right? So as a business owner, I love that. But to have some sort of a balance between these things to make sure that local residents who pay a lot of taxes here too, and they want to be noticed as well, and they're not feeling the love. That's the messaging that I've been getting.
so you feel like people that have decades of roots here are feeling like they're not being represented.
Well, not just the old people.
No, young people,
Decades.
you feel that
Oh goodness.
you
Sorry,
feel
that
like they're
sounded old to me. You made me feel so
no, I
old.
didn't mean it that way. I have decades of experience here. I don't feel old. So,
Yeah, there's a
but
lot of
you
people that don't really like come to console anymore. The chambers used to be full, and now I know we're not really even going there, but this has been going on for a while. They don't feel heard, and one of the things in my life I've always been proud of is being the voice of the unheard, whether it's been homeless people before or small businesses. But there's a lot of people. At one time, it was gay people in Palm Springs that weren't heard. I mean, we've come a long way, right? So in the marriage equality days, I was one of the people that worked very hard for the rally that we had, and everything else.
well, one of the things that I love to put out here is that in 2020 you received the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission Community Service Award
Yeah, Ron
for
reminded me of that.
your advocacy, and I'm just going to bring it on screen again because one of the thing I'm going to do two things. I'm going to put up your website address.
Thank you. Which,
Um,
by the way, I owned that website address before I even was running. I just thought it was adorable, Palm Springs Story.
well,
I've owned it since
yes.
like the 80s.
Well, that's fantastic. And then Uh, I just want to show this amazing timeline. It's in the About Me section at Palm Springs Joy, where you can just see this whole timeline of activities that you've been involved with. So, for example, the Main Street Palm Springs group. You've been a board member or president from 1992 on, and Progressive Retailers, PS Economic Development Corp., Palm Springs General Plan and Steering Committee, PS Downtown Urban Design, and on and on and on. You're one of your hats is you have a cannabis business, but you also really were tireless in helping the whole cannabis industry come
Yes.
to come to the desert. So
It wasn't
definitely,
fun like I thought it would be. I
well,
thought it was going to be loads of fun. It wasn't.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Uh, now you've gotten you've received the endorsement of the Desert Sun. Are there any other endorsements you're particularly excited about that you want to share with me and the viewers?
I like the Democratic Women of the Desert. I didn't go for all of the endorsements. Honestly, I didn't even know you're supposed to do that. But so I just went and reached out to groups that I felt a certain amount of
Camaraderie.
camaraderie with. Yeah, there you go. And those were the groups that I chose to address. I'm kind of trying to be an independent candidate without owing any particular, and I'm not saying anybody else would owe anybody any favors, but I'm funny about that. And I just felt like I really want to be an independent person. And I haven't, like really just had my hand out. I had a budget of how much money I thought that this would cost. And I went out and raised that amount of money. It will be under $20,000 when we're done. That was
Well,
part of why I supported districts, was so that anybody, would have the opportunity to run. But just even trying to get those 80 signatures from July 15th or whatever to August 15th in the summer in Palm Springs, 80 signatures from people that are registered to vote and that haven't signed for anybody else. It's complicated. It would be very hard for somebody that's not in the know to be able to run. I and that wasn't what I had envisioned when we first went to districts.
okay. What do you feel like your greatest contribution has been as a resident of Palm Springs over the years?
Compassion for people around me from all different walks of life. I just love this community. I love the way that we can pull together. I love the way even during COVID that it was like so devastating, but at the same time, we were all there for each other. That's what a community does. We might have some issues sometimes, but in the end, I really hope that we'll still always come together as a community and remember that about each other.
Well, thank you for that. Now, one of the things I've done for all the candidates, and I've already done it for you, is play your video, but your video is much shorter than the others. So I'm going to
30
play your,
seconds.
I know, I'm going to play your video again. And
Thanks.
because I'm going to play your video again, and then I'd love for you to give me any final remarks that you would like
Thank you.
to conclude our time together.
I'm not a professional politician. I've never run for any office, but I have been involved in dozens of organizations in Palm Springs as both a businesswoman and a mom. I will return a local voice to our city council dealing with the issues that really matter to our community, like affordable housing, public safety, and economic development that helps our citizens. On November 8th, choose Joy. I would be honored to earn your vote, and thank you.
One of the things that I would like to add about you, Joy, is that you're the owner of Crystal Fantasy, a longtime storefront in downtown Palm Springs. You're very generous in your business, and one year you you donated, well, many years, but one of the years in which you donated a gift certificate to a local sober organization, I bought a raffle ticket and I won. And one of the things that I got in your store are these giant tarot
Ooh,
cards. So
nice.
I'm just gonna reach in and draw a card.
Okay.
All right, so this is the card that I have drawn, and
Okay.
it is the Two of Cups. I have no idea what it means, but
Two of Cups. Well, cups
it's
are about emotions, and the way that I remember that, and about water, right? Because it's a cup. So two might have to do with some sort of emotional upheaval generally that has to do with you and another person. It might be a partner, or it might just be a friend, or it could be somebody that's, running against you in an election. But sometimes you might just have some sort of an emotional upheaval happening. Hey, you pulled the card, buddy. You pulled the card.
that was really fantastic.
Oh,
Well, from my point of view, both you and Rhonda Hart have nothing but respect for each other, and I think it's great that the community has both of you. And I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to be on the show. It means a lot to me.
thank you. It meant a lot to me to be invited. I really, I mean, not like we don't talk to each other and this was just some rando thing here, but yeah, I appreciate it very much. Politics are weird. So thank you, even though you've disclosed to me already that who you were supporting, but I don't, he's a good dude.
Well, and you're a great person too, and I practice what I like to refer to as advocacy journalism. So I'll tell my story, I'll give my opinions, I'll talk about what I'm doing personally, but I like to tell the broader stories. And I think especially when if I consider myself a media outlet,
Mhm.
that I should disclose any bias that I might have, but also give opportunities for other people. And I did invite the competitors of the other candidates I've endorsed, and you're the person that said yes. I'm glad you did, because there's more people that will know who you are and what you stand for than would have. And I look forward to the next time our paths
Thanks.
cross in person.
Thank you. Well, I'm sure all next weekend because I'll be at work during Palm Springs Pride. So come on in and see me. I'll be there. It's a little loud, but it'll be good.
And I'll be outside broadcasting the Pride Parade like I usually
Oh,
do. But
nice.
thank you, Joy Meredith,
My pleasure.
candidate for Palm Springs City Council District 3.
District
And
3. Yeah.
have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.
You
And
have a
thank
great
you,
evening.
you're welcome. And thank you, everybody at home, for watching.
Thanks.